then I was sent to Park City, which was a really big contrast to South Salt Lake. South Salt Lake has kind of like smaller houses and stuff and kind of more humble area, but still very beautiful and nice. And I really got used to that. And then I went to Park City and I'm like, holy cow, these people have giant houses. And they live up in the mountains, and that was my first area where I was driving. I'm from Ohio, not good with mountains. We don't have mountains in Ohio. So that was an adventure. And serving in Park City was really cool. The really cool thing about Park City is that it's half, for the sisters, it's half a proselyting area, but it's also a visitor center area. There's a visitor center on Main Street in Park City, and it's called the Family Tree Center. I believe that's what it's called. We always just called it the Tree. But it's a visitor center entirely dedicated to family history. And so I thought that was really cool. I learned how to use Family Search really well. And I got to do some of my family history myself as well. And people would just come in, we would teach them, and we would get to show them around. And I thought that was really cool. And then the other half of our time is spent proselyting, which Park City is kind of a difficult area for missionary work. Not that it's can't be done, because I found so much success in teaching people there. There were some wonderful people, and I just have such good memories from being with the members and also teaching different investigators. I had my first baptism there in Park City, and the work in Park City is interesting because, like I said, giant houses, but wonderful people. But a lot of those houses are empty. People only live there half of the year sometimes. And so I remember my first companion there, her mother was found by the missionaries because of tracting. And so she had this big testimony of tracting. And tracting is great. It works in some areas. We found it didn't really work in Park City very well. I mean, maybe she found success with it later, but I remember that transfer, it didn't really work for us. Just because we would go to so many houses and stuff, and there wouldn't be anybody there. People don't live there for half of the year. And so I found that it was really difficult. And you'll find in certain areas, tracting does work. It is a great missionary tool, but in some areas it can also be a waste of your time. And doesn't mean it's always a waste of time in that area either. But my second transfer there, I had a different companion, my fourth, and instead of tracting, and because it was so hard to find people to teach, just because the lack of people, what we would do is we would instead pray. That sounds crazy. But every Sunday I was there, I remember fasting. We fast for investigators. We would pray and fast for them, and that we'd be able to find them, those people who are ready to hear the gospel. And we found some amazing miracles from that. I remember one investigator, she was staying with a family there in one of the wards, and they specifically wanted sisters to teach her, and so they came and found us and was like, this is Kate, and she would love to learn more about the gospel, and we would love for you to come over and to teach her. And that was really amazing. Like, we could see, we were just like so happy, like the blessings were coming. The Lord blesses us, and like, I remember we would fast, we would pray, we would ask that He would give us investigators, but it doesn't mean we stopped working. We would do our best and try as hard as we could to keep busy throughout the day, and the Lord truly did bless us. Another investigator, it was like crazy, because she came to church with her 2 kids, and they had just moved in from Texas, and they were actually looking for a church to join. Like, that happens. I didn't know. And so that was really cool. That was a funny first Sunday for them, because the ward was preparing for the Christmas, the primary Christmas thing, and she herself went to sacrament meeting and to Relief Society and sent the kids to primary, and they gave the kids parts in the Christmas, I forget what that's called, but her daughter got the part that she was supposed to say, "I know Joseph Smith was a prophet." And so her sweet investigator, she went up, she wasn't our investigator yet, but she went up to the primary president, who was actually, so she went up to the primary president and was just kind of like, "I was wondering if she could get a different part. I don't know if this part is right for us or for her, because we don't know yet." She came to church and was telling people, "Oh, we're new," and I was like, "Oh, she's new, like, cool." And it's at this moment that, like, the primary president and, like, the bishop's wife was nearby or whatever. She was just like, "Oh, you're new, like, really new, like, you're not members yet." And I thought that was so funny, because she was told this story to us later, because we were chased down, kind of like, they're like, "Someone get the sisters," because they had just come to church, and people just assumed they were already members and moved in from a different ward or something, but it was their first Sunday, and they had come to church, and they didn't know. And I remember the first time we met with her, we sat at her dining room table, and she had her Book of Mormon out, and her Mormonism for Dummies out, and Book of Mormon Made Easier, and a list of questions. And that was such a great lesson. She was truly prepared, and so I know, like, there are people wherever they are, whether they're in small houses or big houses up on a mountain, the Lord prepares people, and they're there and they're ready for the gospel. But it's kind of a matter of finding them. And the Lord will help you, though.